We turn now to Ukraine, where thousands of people took to the streets after President Viktor Yanukovych refused to sign a free trade pact with the European Union.
The demonstrations have been growing since November 21st, when the Ukrainian president backed out of the EU deal. He said Ukraine needs to continue its close ties with Russia, which opposes closer Ukraine-EU relations.
We are joined now by VOA correspondent Jim Brooke, who is in the Ukrainian capital. Now, Jim, let's take this from the beginning. What is at the heart of this trade issue, and why are people so upset?
Well, polls show the majority of Ukrainians look west. It's much more attractive. It's an open society of law, and frankly, they're turned off by Putin's Russia. Now, there is a minority that would like to do a deal with Russia. So there are two competing trade groups. There's the European Union to the west and Putin's sort of Soviet light, the Eurasian Customs Union. But the polls show that people want to go west.
Right. Now, describe the scene to us outside, what you've been seeing as you've been there in the capital.
Right. You might hear in the background the huge demonstration. There are about 10,000 people massed on the square directly below my hotel room. And people are here for the long haul. They've brought in wood. They're cooking food on fires and camp kitchens. They've got insulated tents. They've actually barricaded themselves behind steel barricades with barbed wire. So they are camped here in the core of the city of Kyiv and say they will not be moved until there's a political resolution to this.
Now, Jim, we've watched this become one of the most serious political confrontations in Ukraine in nearly a decade. The protesters are also asking for the president's impeachment. Is there more than just the EU deal that's driving this?
Well, people have been very frustrated with the president's, the allegations of corruptions that swirl around him. His son, who's a trained dentist, is reputed to already become a billionaire in 2 years. They're not seeing a development. They're not seeing the rule of law. They're seeing the only way for young people to get ahead is to move to the European Union and work as taxi drivers or something. And they want to have development here. So the youth is driving this, and parents of young people, they're frustrated and they want to change. And the current President Yanukovych, it's just more of the same as buddy-buddy and corruption and lack of the rule of law.
Now, Jim, another thing that's become an issue here has been the Ukrainian response, the police response to the protests. We saw the international community coming out expressing concerns about excessive police force. What have you yourself witnessed?
Well, you see these lines of very tough, beefy riot police. What happened in the early morning hours of last Saturday was they swept through this square below me and basically just attacked everybody, whacking everybody, men, women, children, and that really outraged people. They could get away with this 10 years ago, but now everybody's got a mobile phone, everyone's filming this, and a very net-savvy guy posted the videos, and within 12 hours he'd gotten 800,000 hits on his videos. People were outraged, and the next day there was a 1 million-person march right through the center of Kyiv. So the administration here played by the old rules, which is basically attack people under the cover of night, beat them up, and no one will know the difference. Well, that doesn't work anymore. Now, what happened on Sunday night was even worse, in that there seemed to be provocations and violence on both sides. And by the end of the weekend, 43 reporters had been beaten up. People were showing press passes and getting a billy club on the head. It was really quite violent in the attacks on cameramen, photographers, and reporters.
Wow. Jim, thank you so much for joining us. Stay safe out there. VOA Moscow correspondent Jim Brooke in Kyiv.